Greetings and salutations, gamers. Welcome to Cast Co-op, the podcast in which three podcast hosts cast together. I am one of your hosts, Luke Lore, the Insipid Ghost and host of the Xbox Expansion Pass. And I am joined by my big brother and yours, the man who went to not E3, shook hands with the greatest. He's still bald, just so you know. Mr. Ainsley Bowden from Seasoned Gaming's Bitcast. How are you, sir?
I am very well, man. Yeah, I was in LA. I asked all the Xbox execs about hair transplants, but I just don't have that kind of money. You know what I mean?
Fair.
I don't do what Joe does on the side. You know, I can't make $500 an hour. So
I know.
Yeah, we learned some things.
I'm good, guys. It's been too long. It's been way too long, and I feel like we say that every episode now. This is becoming like a monthly show.
I know, right?
But that was my fault this time around. So we'll sort it out.
We do what we got to do, man. It shows about being fun or having fun, hanging out with our buddies. That's how we do it, man. Yeah. Well, to Ainsley Bowden's left, but to our right, looking at him, is Mr. Joseph Moran, host of the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast. Joseph, how are you, sir?
I have put over 100 hours into Diablo. No, I have no shame.
I think I have two.
I'm addicted.
I think I have two. My phone's all the way over there. I made a mistake.
No.
Yeah, I'm like 4 days in on that. 3 days in. 4 days in.
It's been. Hey, Tom, what's your number on Diablo? Couldn't even tell you.
Too many. I did 2 closed betas, the open beta, and then the review.
Betas. You can't count betas.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying those 4 things alone were probably like 150 plus hours. And then since release, I don't know because I play on PC. It doesn't track your time.
Okay.
So I don't know. I would guess probably 80 to 100 again. I'm a 67 on my main, and then I have a sorceress as well as my secondary that I'm working on.
I tried Rogue for a little bit, and I was like, Rogue's great, but I really want to get the sorceress to level 100 before I start even thinking about a secondary character.
So I don't know what level you are currently.
71. Humble brag.
Okay, so yeah, you've been grinding then. I was going to say, as you've noticed, right, once you get into like the 60s, it takes some time. You got to put the time in. So getting to 100 is a serious grind. Yeah.
Well, that's why I wanted to get into the level 4 tournament world tier, because it gives you a bit more XP in the lower 60 areas, so that once I'm hit, like I can hit level 70 faster.
So you're 71, but you're still not on world tier 4?
No, I'm on world tier 4 now, but everything is kicking my ass.
Yeah, you got to get some ancestral items. So we could talk in detail about it, but yeah, once you get to 4, it hits a lot harder. But you got sacred items in world tier 3. Now you get ancestral items, and once you get a few of those upgrades, you'll start being okay again. But you definitely want to play in 4 because 4, like you said, gives you more XP and stuff, but it also has additional items that drop like you can't get in world tier 3. So there's uniques that are only in world tier 4.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's only like lightning pieces that are dropping for me, and I'm an ice like sorceress. So
it happens.
Oh, I keep on getting the coolest unique staff, and I'm like, I may deal with a staff if it's like got some like cold damage to it. Only lightning. The only variants, only lightning. It sucks.
Happens. That's part of the grind.
I'm at 104 hours. I checked.
Yeah, nice. That's it. Ends like this week's show. Obviously, it's a little bit more loose because it's post, not E3, so there's really not a whole lot of news coming out. But I want to ask you, because you went to, again, not E3. You saw Starfield. You're really excited about No Man's Sky 2. Do you think that is the only game
it looks like No Man's Sky
that could overtake Diablo 4 as your game of the year? Like, do you think that thing has what it takes to be your goatee, as a kid say?
Oh, that's a good question. Potentially, I would say, yeah. I think it'd be really tough. Diablo is my jam. I've been saying that all year, right? You guys, I've preached about it forever, and I love it to death. And I'm still addicted to it after all this time with betas and review and everything else. I literally haven't played Halo in weeks.
Wow.
Which for me, if you know me, is crazy. Like that doesn't happen. So, and it's because of Diablo. So, I don't know. I think it could. I'll tell you this. we were sitting there in a theater. It was a great setup, super exciting, lots of energy and all that. And they move into the Starfield Direct, and I'm sitting with a whole bunch of people that our audience knows and you guys know. Sitting with
You were next to
Cog.
Blam, weren't you?
I was sitting directly next to Blam. I hung out with him a lot. Awesome dude. Shout out
cool,
to PTK Blam in the shop podcast.
Love him.
So I was sitting with PTK. Cog was right behind me. Attic, Sean Labrie, Colt, Risk It for Biscuit, Holly, Dante, another guy I met for the first time. I forget what he goes by on Twitter. I can put it up, but he's awesome too. So we had a big group. And anyway, like 15 minutes into the direct presentation of Starfield, which, as you guys know, was 45 minutes long, right? It was long. 15 minutes into it, me and Cog specifically were like yelling, throw the damn towel, because we were already like so far blown away at the depth of what they were presenting. And then it just kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's very clear that, they've said it all along, and we all were kind of like, we'll see if it delivers, and it might be buggy. And we've, some people have been really hyped for it. But I think I don't want to speak for you guys, but at least for me, it was kind of like, I'm definitely hyped for it, but cautiously. Like, I'm worried it's not going to live up to these gigantic expectations. And me and Colt talked to Pete Hines directly, just the three of us, for a while. I talked to Todd Howard, as you guys saw. And I was in a presentation that was not broadcast, that was only for media. Funny enough, I was literally directly behind the Polygon writer who was writing their article as I was sitting there.
Oh, wow.
And having had all those conversations and learned what I learned about it, I will tell you, it's my number one most anticipated game for the rest of the year now. From what I've heard, right, it is already in a state today that is kind of less buggy, if you will, than your traditional Bethesda release. And they've obviously still got a few more months of QA and polish to go. Pete Hines told us, he told a funny anecdote. He said he was in his hotel when Summer Game Fest was happening. He wasn't at the actual event. And he said on his Xbox, he had, like on the dashboard, it says Summer Game Fest is live now. Click it to watch. And he said he looked at it and went right up to the Starfield button and just kept playing Starfield.
Nice.
He said he's been playing it for months. He literally can't stop. He said people are going to lose thousands of hours into this game. He said, like, this was after the presentation. And he said, we showed you a lot. He said, it's literally scratching the surface of what is in this game. And of course, Pete's going to say that. He's Bethesda VP. I get it.
I was going to say, do you believe him?
I do. I do, because the other conversations are just like I said, if you watch that direct and you've played a lot of games, you've been around a long time, and you've been around from the Wing Commander days way back when, and Starflight and all these games we grew up with in sci-fi. Mass Effect, probably the biggest kind of more recent example. It has like elements of all those games, all of them, along with being a Bethesda RPG. And what they said specifically, which blew me away, is that everything in the environment is interactable like you would expect in a Bethesda RPG, right? Like the girl joked, I collect sandwiches, and she's got like 100 sandwiches on the table, right? Like, you can kind of do in the environment whatever you want to do, but it's on a scale that is just so vast. It's kind of hard to fathom. And yeah, so long story short, Joe, I think it could. For me, if the exploration has depth, that's the big thing for me. I love to get lost in games and explore. And if, as I'm exploring, I'm constantly finding interesting things on my own, me, I don't want a guide. Don't give me markers. Just shut it all off and let me just go do my thing. If I can do that and I'm finding unique and interesting things, it's going to take over my life. If you get to like the 50th planet and it starts to feel real samey, then that's going to be a different conversation. I don't think it'll hit as hard for me. And then the other factor for me, which I'm sure it is for everyone, is story. Is the story, they said it looks, again, vast. It looks very grand, kind of figuring out origins of the universe type thing. But how hard is that going to hit? How well written is it going to be? We'll have to see.
And that's the thing that I've been very cautious with this game, because like Bethesda PR does like to promise a lot and then kind of under deliver on things. They do a great job at talking. Like, don't get me wrong, but they like to over deliver a lot or try to. That being said, seeing the game in action, I'm more optimistic. Like, I'm actually excited for it now. I think visually the game looks stunning. even like down to some of the characters, which, we've been getting a lot of requests. So I'll just a quick question over to you, Luke. Because it must have been, really hard to keep the secret that you're in Starfield. How do you feel about it, bud?
I think they owe me a jacket or a
check?
t-shirt or something.
Oh, guys, I got a free Starfield jacket.
I saw
There
that
you
you guys would be getting. I'm very jealous of that.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Bethesda, give this man a
Hog
jacket.
did not get one. He was
What?
upset.
Why
Yeah,
not?
he did not.
Hot
So, well, I don't want to get into it, but basically, you could be media, which we were, or you could be FanFest.
Yeah.
I know it's beautiful, isn't it? Mine's right here below me. You could be media, or you could be FanFest. We were media, but I got very lucky that someone also gave me a FanFest invite as well. So Cog was media only, so he was in there with us, but he didn't get all the FanFest kind of goodies, if you will.
Gotcha.
So.
Gotcha.
Ains got to go twice, and I was at home.
But like that's all right, Luke. All right.
I'm not better.
I know, I get it. I'm playing the smallest violin in the world right now. But no, like the only thing that has me slightly alarmed is like, okay, I want to see this story, because usually, like, I know, like with Skyrim and even like Fallout, their main story isn't their strong suit. So I want to see where I'm going, what I'm doing, in terms of story is concerned. And for me, it's like, you're doing a lot of stuff. Will it be okay if I don't do half of it? Like, will I feel punished if I'm not doing a quarter of it? That maybe I'm just golden pathing it, or just being the space cowboy. Like, the one problem I have with Fallout 4 was that base building element. There's always, an encampment needing rescuing, and I always felt like I was failing at that department.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I kind of left Fallout, a bit early on into that game. So that's where my alarms kind of go off with Starfield. It's like, there's a lot here, and it seems like, and I'm not trying to be a dick, I just feel like they were, or to do the fanboy thing, is that they were playing a lot of No Man's Sky, and they were playing a lot of things like Breath of the Wild. They were just like, what if we just did this in space? And that's the thing that has me excited, is this, if they can nail those elements, if they can nail space combat, that's what I'm kind of excited to see. The combat already looks better, but I would have actually appreciated a little bit more of that combat side. But so far, I think the aesthetic is selling me the most on Starfield.
That's where I want to jump in. Is I didn't see enough happening. And Ains, we were live streaming. You were in a room with energy, whereas we were watching a 45-minute slow documentary, impressive documentary. But I didn't see a lot happening. I was being talked at, but I didn't see a lot of things going on. And for me, I wanted. Thanks a lot, Ains. Kill yourself.
For the audio listeners, he put up Luke's character in Starfield. It's
not a bit of royalty.
You can leave that up.
Not a bit of royalty.
I know. They should be paying you for sure. They should definitely be paying.
There's
you.
more life in those.
It's weird that your mouth doesn't move though. You don't look very lifelike while you're speaking. But go ahead.
Is that character's got like some Bethesda pantheon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like it's in other games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, say it again. I was too busy laughing at your picture.
Oh, that character is like significant to Bethesda.
Oh yeah. It was it was originally in Oblivion, I believe. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Or Fallout. It was in Fallout as well. Yes. Anyway, yes.
Yeah. Either way, somebody there needs to recognize the comparison. But I go back to the problem with the direct in that 45-minute showcase was, as impressive as it was, and it was astounding, a touch overwhelming to be talked at for so long, but I didn't see enough doing. I wanted to see the space combat more. I wanted to see more shooty. And like, for me, a game like Starfield is going to be massive, and it's going to be one I put down to play Alan Wake, to play Spider-Man, and then go back to, right? I'm curious how that golden path Joe was talking about, the doing of, because I'm not interested in the creating of a spaceship or a space at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe I'm wrong, right? Like, Elden Ring changed my opinion on gaming, and so or on those kind of games. Maybe Starfield will as well, but I'm hopeful that there is an action adventure in there for me if I want that, and I feel like it might be. Right?
Yeah. So I think I agree with you guys. Fallout. I love Fallout 3 to death. Played that game endlessly, including the expansions. And Fallout 4, I was hugely hyped for, and I actually didn't put as much time into that, nearly as much time as 3, because of the settlement building. That doesn't interest me at all. When I used to like the original No Man's Sky, I'm one of those 8 people. And then when they added to it over and over, and they made building a big part of No Man's Sky, I tried to play it again, put it down, bored me to tears. It's just not something I like in games. Sorry if I was recovering I got sick on the way home, so I've recovered here. Sorry. But I agree with you. And I think maybe I'm reading too much into it. So one, I think I've watched the direct twice now. I came home and I watched it again. And now I know we differ on some of those things, and that's fine. Like I was enthralled watching that. I could have watched 2 more hours of it. Just because that part of my interest. But I think your point around, can I play this game and do the things I want to do without it requiring me to do things I don't want to do? I think is the question, like Fallout did. It seems like you can. And what I got from it is that that's why they showed like 5-minute clips of all these different things. Like if you want to do shipbuilding and you want to make Voltron, go ahead. If you want to be a pirate and you want to float around space and just shoot at ships and board them, which is crazy. The idea of floating through space, finding ships and boarding them and fighting and taking their shit is crazy. Do that. If you want to play the golden path and do the story, you can do that. If you just want to be a trader, like you can buy and sell and set up shop and stuff, you can do that. So I think, to answer your question the short way, because I'm going on again, is I think that's why they showed it that way, is you can play this game however you want. And it's got so much depth that you don't have to engage with every element of it. Because I can tell you, like, I'll build my ship, I'll add to it if I need to, but it's not going to be something I play around with. Like, just let me fly around in whatever ship. It's not my thing.
Oh, see, that's the thing that excites me. It's like the shipbuilding, being my own Han Solo. That's fun. The like, hey, here's trade routes that you can route around your bases. I'm like,
yeah,
that seems like the most boring thing I can ever do in a video game about me being in space.
But I think that's what's so fascinating about it, because we talked a lot about it afterwards, like the big group of us, right? And we talked about, what are you most excited about? And we were all saying something different. And I think that's what's so cool about it is, if you just think about the other games right now that offer that type of experience where you could play realistically for dozens of hours in 20 different ways, there's not that many out there that are that fast.
I mean, the only one that comes in my noggin is Tears of the Kingdom.
I haven't played it enough to say, but yeah, and I don't know how it compares, obviously, but I think that I just think it's impressive what they've offered. Now, of course, we're assuming some things, right? We're assuming there's enough depth to say to be a pirate only, right? If you want to do that, we don't know. Right. We'll have to see. But I think what they've shown so far, I'll say this: that direct completely changed my tune on Starfield. Okay. And from the word I use all the time is anecdotally, the people I've talked to felt pretty similar in that, if you were kind of average on it before or medium on it, you're way more excited now. And I don't know, I'm pumped for it now.
Do you think that Starfield is going to be a significant system seller for Xbox? Because there's a lot of ways to purchase and play, and it's a new IP, and those are 2 obstacles in terms of sales. Is it going to sell Xboxes?
I don't know. I'd like to think so.
And chat, same question to you guys.
Yeah, same question for everyone. I'd love to hear what you guys think, because I honestly don't know. I don't know in today's market, with the availability of cloud, which I know isn't big, but the availability of PC day one, right? And more people gaming on PC. I don't know what sells an Xbox today, but I think if any game is going to do it, Starfield's going to be way up there. And once that come August, the marketing machine is going to get rolling. And they are going to use the word Skyrim and Fallout endlessly as they market this game. And when I think the casual people who have no idea what we're talking about, they don't even know the Xbox Showcase happened, They walk into GameStop or Best Buy or Walmart and they see a big Starfield banner from the makers of Skyrim and Fallout, and they'd be like, great, let me buy that for my PlayStation. And someone tells them it's not on PlayStation or your Switch. I think realization may set in, and I think it'll probably sell at least some to that degree, would be my thought.
I think it also sells people on Game Pass. I think
Yes.
really this is more on like if I'm a PC gamer, I'm now more enticed to try Game Pass out than ever, and I think that's really what Microsoft's probably chipping at. Like again, it goes back to what Phil Spencer said on the one podcast, which is just Xcast, thank you. Which was just like, listen, like this is our ceiling, like the console market is not as 50-50 as what some YouTubers want to tell you it is. These are the markets that we're going into. So like I think to them it's not that they're giving up on console. They just realize that's our market, that's where our hardcore is. We love them, we're gonna take care of them. But there's these other two marketplaces that one has a lot of opportunity for us to strive in, which is PC. And then there's this other market that hasn't blossomed yet, but we think there's going to be something there. It's going to be big. So I think really Starfield's going to appeal to a lot of PC gamers, where a lot of Xbox games, I think outside of Sea of Thieves, haven't had that level of success yet. So I think that's really, I think the litmus test for Starfield. But I'm also like more like, I think we all are. We want to make sure it's a good game. So
there's a couple good comments here. I'll just call out real quick, Luke. I've heard this word thrown around a lot. I think Dominic's right. It's like Bethesda's magnum opus, which I think is even something that Todd said, because it's like one thing they do well with their core RPGs is they build upon each of them, right? You can see elements of the past in their new games and they build upon that. And this game clearly feels like a game that takes elements of all their best games that they've ever made and expands upon it exponentially, really. And as they said, you can take it as marketing, but really up to this generation and this level of hardware, you couldn't really make a game like this, not to the extent. And so I think that that's true. People talking about Game Pass and selling it. Alex, shout out to Alex, by the way, says, I feel they'll totally sell the 1 terabyte Series S. Launching the same week is pretty telling. Very true.
Good point.
So I think I agree with all you guys. I think it's gonna definitely raise interest in Xbox as an ecosystem, which someone else said. I apologize. I didn't mean to take your comment, whoever that was.
Is there anything said?
Eric.
I'm sorry.
What's up, Eric? Sorry, Luke. I didn't want to steal his comment.
You're good. I'm curious, has there been anything said about monetization in game? The reason I ask is it would make good sense to bundle that bad boy and get as many people with their hands on Starfield as possible. So I'm just curious, like, is that something are they monetizing outside of the game purchase?
I think right now it's like expansions.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean, because you said in-game monetization, but then you said bundle, and I don't know what you mean.
You're right. So I should clarify. What I mean to say is, like, on release, will there be in-game purchases like microtransactions of some kind? And then if there are, it would be ripe for bundling with Series X and S consoles. That's what I mean.
Right. No, you're fine. I don't know. I don't think I haven't heard that there's any in-game microtransactions as of yet. It wouldn't surprise me given the market today, right? At least some cosmetics, because you can play in third person. So you could think that some cosmetics would come. I would also expect that we'll see a Series X bundle. I was disappointed. As cool as the controller is and the headset, I wanted to see a Series X Starfield, a white one with the colors on it, with the emblem. That would have been beautiful.
Dollars to donuts, they wanted to, but their primary goal was to get more Xboxes available. And seemingly, like I saw somebody in chat posted, and I'd seen this several times, the Amazon purchases went up for Series X.
It was number one seller. Yeah. In UK and France, I think someone said, GameFire said in France as well. And shout out Logan. What's up, dude? He said $5 super chat. He said there's a reason they released a Series S that can hold Starfield's game size. It's called Sony PlayStation fans. I think we're right. Yeah, he's right. I think we're all saying kind of the similar thing, right? I think this is the game primarily that was at the heart of the Bethesda acquisition. We talked about it 3 years ago. We also talked about the pretty credible rumor that PlayStation was trying to get a marketing deal for Starfield prior to the acquisition. I don't know if that was ever proven true, but it seems really credible based on the sources.
And
so I mean,
precedent of
and precedent.
Ghostwire and Deathloop. Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, it there's obviously something here, and I think the fact that they felt comfortable delaying this almost another year to make sure this game releases in the state that we all want it to release in says a lot about the game. I think it's going to hit hard, guys. I really do.
Yeah, man,
I'm curious. So. I'm curious to see how hard it hits in month 2. So it's going to hit real hard, and then several weeks later, you've got the Cyberpunk expansion, Spider-Man 2, and Alan Wake 2. So I'm curious to know, because this is a game that's going to have legs, right? This is going to have legs.
It'll be played forever.
Nearly a decade. Oh my gosh, Mama. By the way, you did not get hurt, or never mind. I'm sorry, Dad. So I'm very curious to know, like, how does the conversation shift once Sony's big holiday exclusive comes out, once the big third-party game of October, which is Alan Wake, comes out, and then what is effectively the Cyberpunk 2077 new release version? Because, like, if you are on the fence about Cyberpunk, wait till that expansion and then buy the game. Buy it now on sale, and then boom, go. I'm really curious to see how Starfield mixes in, because it's been a long time since we had a Skyrim, an Oblivion.
I think it'll sell like gangbusters out of the gate. Obviously, it's a single player game at the end of the day. So people, as you said rightly, I think, Luke, people will put it down for a while and come back. But I think someone else, Austin in the chat, just said, which he's absolutely right, because, I look at this crap every week. Fallout 4 is one of the top played games on Xbox Live every week. And it is how old now? 10 years?
Yeah.
Something like that or more. I don't know. But, they're only going to add to this. They're going to add mods, right, as they always do. And it's just going to be built upon and built upon forever.
I can't wait till we get into that Voltron size Randy Savage. Macho man himself.
Like, people are going to make like actual ships from sci-fi. They're going to make the Enterprise, and they're going to make
the Millennial
TIE fighters Falcon. And Millennium Falcon. You're going to have everything in that game. And just thinking about all this
stuff on PC now.
Thinking about all the stuff you'll pull from in sci-fi, right? Like, just imagine the possibilities people are going to come up with. It's going to be out of control.
I kid you not, when and I never got this experience in No Man's Sky, unfortunately, but there was a clip from No Man's Sky long ago where they warp in at the space thing, and a fleet warps in, and then your space fighters flying around and dogfighting. I never got that experience in No Man's Sky, but it's possible to get. I hope that, based on what I'm seeing of the dogfighting, there is a world where I can pretty much live my life in Starfield, where I fly in and space combat some stuff, then board the ship, shoot, back out. I've got all their cargo, go sell it, do it all over again. To me, that's a great loop. Now, again, it's not fair to put expectations of what I want it to be versus what the developers want, but I see that as a possibility, and I'm like, I want that game.
I like that I like the way you phrase that, because that's something I'm running into more and more. I don't know if about you guys, but I see more and more where a game will deliver. I've had conversations about Diablo in this vein. Diablo has delivered as an ARPG day one release, something astounding, right? It is massive, and it provides hundreds of hours of gameplay. It has endgame, it has PvP, it has all kinds of things. We don't have to rehash Diablo. But then I'll see people like find one thing that didn't meet their expectation that some ARPG has over here, and are like, well, Diablo just let down. It doesn't have this. And it's like the context of what it did deliver is completely lost. Yeah. And I see that more and more. It's like people, if the game doesn't have this one thing they really like, it's suddenly not up to par. And it's like, no, that's not really fair. That's not how we should be looking at games. I just like the way you said that.
I saw that surrounding Avowed, because of the initial Avowed teaser, like the concept teaser, had a very realistic, and I use that, it's got magic and stuff, but had a much more like visually realistic version of an art style. And you flash forward several years where the scope of the game has changed because the scope of what they could create and what they were best at changed. They changed directors. And then suddenly people were thinking, well, that's not what I wanted it to be. And it's like, you never played it.
Yeah.
You never played it.
It's because people saw it. They assumed Obsidian Skyrim, and then they ran with that expectation for the past few years. And when they saw something different, it's like, well, that's not what I want. It's like, no one really cares what you want.
And I understand, but we can't we can't be upset when a game makes a choice that they wanted to make. I didn't particularly like the bad guy, the big bad in Jedi Survivor. The game still delivered me a great video game. You know what I mean? Like, understand and respect the vision.
Yeah, it was something. Actually, I kind of mirror the conversation over to something Gene Park said a few days ago about how, and this goes for like movie reviewers, and I'm gonna just paraphrase to the end here. He says, "We let the space be dominated by inexperienced critics with a decent camera and mic equipment." Like that's the problem with, I think, a lot of the conversation now is that it is being, not to say held hostage, but the loudest people are also the ones that, don't know what it takes to make a game, right? Or doesn't understand the intricacies of game development, right? It's something that we echo a lot on the trophy room. It's like, I have no idea what we're talking about in terms of like, what engine A is good at versus what engine B is not good at and all that jazz. Like, getting into the nitty gritty there is something that we try to stay away from. Or when we have to dive into there, like, for example, everybody's a legal expert when it comes to ABK. What we'll say from the get-go is like, we have no idea what we're talking about. We're just speculating. You want an expert, go to someone on CNBC or someone that knows this stuff, not me. But I think that's one of the problems with conversations on not just gaming on social media, but in general, it's all being it's all the dumbest morons that were really geniuses at SEO. Like, that's what it is, because every game is either good, great, or not even. It's either great, this thing sucks, let's go throw in a developer either way. And like, those conversations are really annoying. Like, I played Final Fantasy 16. I really enjoyed it, like, a lot, but I can't speak to that as as someone who's an expert on Final Fantasy. So I'll let you guys know, hey, listen, I have no idea anything about Final Fantasy, but as a newcomer, I really enjoyed my experience. Like, we're losing so much, I guess, context is what I'll say before I speak in circles anymore. So,
yeah, you're good.
And negativity drives engagement. Rob, preach.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about that, if you don't mind, given that we have 3 content creators, 3 podcast hosts. The idea of negativity driving engagement is absolutely true and very difficult to combat and gain engagement. And I know from private conversations that the 3 of us consistently run into that at varying levels of reach and success. But it's tough to play the YouTube game, to play the algorithm game, and to play just the general interest level, even Patreons and super chats. The more negative I see some locations be, some outlets be, the more they get dollars, the more they get clicks, the more they get views. And that is a frustrating thing, because it goes back to what Gene Park was saying, Joe, that you rightly brought up. Sometimes the loudest people, right? And so I thought that is a good comment, given that we're 3 content creators, to point out.
Yeah, it's maddening. We've all dealt with it. And I mean,
for example, the last 2 episodes of the Trophy Room were not being negative Nancy's. Also, 2 of our lowest performing episodes. So like, this month is exactly, it's your fault. So like, these 2 where we didn't have something controversial to talk about. We didn't have anything that was like, if it bleeds, it leads to talk about. People don't tune in because we've been trained that this is what we want. It's infuriating, because again, we have to in that realm, it's like we have to love, company A and hate company B, and I really just
Doesn't work
hate
that
that
way.
mentality. But unfortunately, SEO rewards it.
We have found also, though, I think the three of us have found that in not diving into the negativity, we do find an audience that has a more rational conversation.
Big time.
I talk often about so anecdotally, like I really enjoy XEP's Discord. Very positive, uplifting, kind. Hey, good morning, everybody. Like everybody's saying good morning and hello and how's your fam? Joe, yours is very similar to that. 99% of the time, Ains, your Bitcast chat is full of positive people. The super chats are positive and people wanting to be supportive, not negative. Those mean so much more, despite the audience being smaller, because I think it's the conversations we want to have. I don't want to be in a room with 1,000 people and everyone's yelling negativity. I just don't.
Those chats are horrible. I can't stand it. I've preached about this endlessly. You guys know that. So there's not really much I need to say. I just agree. So anyone that's joining us here, knows how we are. So that's it.
Yeah. Big time. Big time.
You know
let me
what?
get a super.
Ains with a cold sounds like a character out of Hey Arnold. I just wanted to say it.
And I feel a lot better than I have the past few days. I gave it to my wife now. She's not happy. But I've got that like drip now, so it's constantly like trying to clear my throat. It sucks. But anyway, we got a nice super chat from Strubles and Bits here. $10 super chat says, I've been watching this whole time and I just noticed the Halo plasma sword. Please let me see it.
Oh, sure.
Great stream as always.
It's a light.
Those
USB-C.
It's USB. It's cool.
Yeah, USB-C. Super fancy. And turns on and off. It lets me illuminate whatever I like to spotlight that week. Sometimes it's my Dragon Zord or my Starfield controller or the latest Steelbook. I even got Spider-Man 2 for Xbox. Look at that.
Nice.
Does it work this time?
It works. This is the third time I bought this game, Ains. The first two have been defective, and I bought one a year. I finally got it. It's the only Spider-Man game on Xbox. Like trying to find a disc that works because they didn't make very many of them. And
wow.
Sony took the rights to Spider-Man pretty.
Yeah.
But I always like to spotlight something over there. But thanks for noticing the light, man. Oh, it's also lighting up the Ori and the Will of the Wisp.
That's a cool LE. I like that one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Strubles. And by the way, thank you, Logan, if I did say it earlier. Thank you for the super chats, guys.
Yeah, Logan, you don't have to thank. I got a question for you. Okay. I want to know
I'm making him talk.
What?
I don't mind talking to you. Just hear me like the
it's
whole
been
time.
Like forever. I want to chat with my friend. I don't care if guys, he's sick. He's gonna go every while. It's gonna be fine. We're podcasts. It's fun. What was your game of show? Was it Starfield?
Yeah, it was. I would say Clockwork Revolution. So we had dinner with a bunch of us, like 15 of us, and we all said, what do you want to see most from the showcase? And I think I was on Archimedes' show prior to the World of Gaming. We did our prediction that Saturday, and I said I want to see In Exile's RPG because I've heard really good things about it. And so when they showed it, and it, the In Exile logo came up, me and Cog immediately like high-fived, and we're like, yes, because we were both, that was our number one. And knowing what's going into that game and the team behind Clockwork Revolution, that game's going to be special. I'm telling you right now. So I was super hyped to see that. I really was happy. As you guys know, I've been preaching about Compulsion for years. I was happy to see the teaser for oh God, what's the name of it? Midnight something. South of Midnight?
South of Midnight.
Yeah. I like the tone. I like the vibe. I love that kind of bayou southern kind of thing. That was really cool. So I want to see more of what the actual gameplay is, of course. But I was super happy. I think all those games, and then of course, for me, Forza. We've talked about that. So I'm super excited for Forza to come out in October. I got the pleasure of I don't know if I told you guys. I posted about it, but the night after the showcase, Chris Sasaki reached out, who's the creative director on Forza. He's the head of the new Forza. He reached out to me and said, hey, we'd love to catch up. And we caught up in the lobby there. And we just sat for over an hour and we just talked cars. We talked racing. Nice. We talked my old cars, his old cars. And it was an absolute joy. And like we had Idle Sloth sitting next to us and X Buds. I don't know if you know them from Twitter, but we started talking about like detailed car talk, and they just like zoned out. They're like, we have no idea what you guys are talking about. And I was like, but it was a lot of fun. And we talked a lot about what's gone into the new Forza, and it is ridiculously impressive. That game from a racing game perspective is going to be, again, really, really special. And I think that's the vibe of the whole show here, is that we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for Xbox to really come out and show first party. And I don't know where you guys stood on it, but I feel that they did, and I feel that Forza and Starfield are going to be really, really fantastic games, and that's just going to be the start of kind of this momentum into the future.
Yeah. So I feel as a non-Xbox, yes, Luke, stay in your corner. You're another Xbox guy. I don't want to hear it. As a non-Xbox, primary gamer, I saw a lot of things that really interest me. Right, like I think Hellblade was the game of the show for me there. Again, I'm excited for Starfield. It's not my most anticipated game, but it's definitely up there. Hellblade, man, that trailer just sold me. Yeah,
the funny thing, Joe, I saw you sorry to interrupt. I saw you post that. The funny thing I heard in LA was that many people said that the most disappointing first party thing in the show was Hellblade. And I was in between. So I think what people wanted to see was combat. They want to see what combat looks like. So I can see that, the combat focus, but I also agree with you that Hellblade at its core is the theme and her madness and what she's going through, and that kind of psychosocial setting, and I think they, especially in the theater watching it with the sound, it was bonkers.
That's
so I really like it.
It's like being in a deprivation tank. That's what that vibe is. And that's why my one buddy Todd did not like it at all. He thought it was a bad trailer, just overall not good. And I'm like, just listen to it, like with headphones. Like, yeah, if you're in a theater, I understand why, but like hearing the whispers in my headphones, like that's something else. So I understand the combat in the first game wasn't, the
focus.
Let's be honest, wasn't great.
Yeah,
and that's not. Yeah, and it's not the focus of it either. But we're starting to see them, or we're seeing them have AAA, walking around money. So I'm thinking the combat's just going to be, it's going to be fine. The one thing that I think is really funny is that like Xbox fans, the adage I think COG started, which is just one. We just want one, and it's like, guys, I hate to tell you this, you got quite a few. like you got quite a few over the shoulder, some third person, some RPGs, some single player experiences there that look really good. Like Fable looks fantastic. Anybody saying otherwise is a big dumb idiot. Like Hellblade looks great. Starfield looks fantastic.
And the crazy thing is the majority of those that we saw, and I've talked to them about this, were on Series X. Because people were like, oh, those are on 4090 PCs and it wasn't in game. And trust me, we had dinner with Jason Ronald for over an hour. I talked to Chris Sasaki. I talked to Todd Howard. Like, I talked to all these guys and they're like, no, that was Series X. No, that was Series X. No, that's actually playable. That was Series X. And I'm like, oh, you guys are doing work over there. Okay.
Apparently they showed even gameplay in the Fable trailer, because I'm like one of those people like, and I'm always of the mind of like, I'll believe it when I see the UI,
yeah.
Like that's
fair,
but even
fair, especially after Redfall, regardless of what they say, that's a fair statement after Redfall.
But like, dude, Fable looks phenomenal. Even if that ain't gameplay, like that is still looks really impressive.
Oh, dude, when they opened with that, and everyone's excited in the theater, and it, they open with him talking, and it goes to he's the giant and everything, and she's sitting on the glasses, right? Or something happens, right? And she looks at the screen and says F, but it goes to Fable at the end. Oh my God, the whole theater like erupted in laughter and applause. It was awesome.
Yeah.
They definitely got the vibe.
Yeah, they got the vibe.
Did you all see the controversy as far as Fable and the character model, the actor?
Yeah, don't care.
Okay, so I
didn't see it.
Essentially, they're upset that she's not pretty enough.
Right.
Yeah. And it's funny because the actor that they're using, she is stunningly beautiful, but they did change her face. But there are people who are upset that she's not pretty enough.
Some dude that looks like me has the audacity on Twitter to call someone not beautiful.
know? I saw that moron. He looks like okay.
Me. You should shut.
No, you're a much better looking guy than that guy is.
Thanks,
Bud.
Bud.
I heard he's going to be in the Goonies sequel. You know what I mean? Like, he'll be okay. I think she's going to be okay.
I bring that up because I think that's symbolic of people trying to find things that are wrong.
Yeah,
that's not gameplay.
Exactly.
This person's not pretty enough. It's like, what are you talking about? Like,
it goes back to the same conversations, right? Like they're being held hostage by dumb idiots that know the only thing they know how to do is how to trend on a social media platform. That's it. They don't know how to carry any other conversation. That's infuriating. But
never mind. The whole thing with Fable is like, it never really says the time period per se, but you get the feeling that it's kind of like 16th century, 15th century England, right? Yeah, they're not models, all right? Like, they're not supposed to be. That's not the culture of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Joe, was Hellblade your game of show? Is that what you said?
On the Xbox Showcase. But like my overall gamer show of the whole thing is 110% Star Wars Outlaws.
Gotcha.
That game looks great.
Ains, I would encourage you to go
I'm mad about it, though.
Trophy room. Go to the trophy room reactions of that trailer. You get to see how I usually act around Star Wars. And it is like I am 7 years old. I'm doing like this with my hands. I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, Stingray points out too. Remember, they did the same thing with Aloy, saying Aloy looks ugly again.
Yeah,
and it's like
again, people that look at like me shouldn't have any comments about whoever looks like whatever. I don't know. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I'm mad about Star Wars Outlaws, but we can get to that because Luke, we didn't hear your game of show.
Thank you. That's what I've been trying to say, and Joe cuts me off every time I start to talk.
But anyway, about Outlaws.
Hey, listen, respect your father.
That's fair, Dad. I'm sorry. Happy Father's Day.
That's right.
I did the handwritten notes thing again, Ains, because that's what I like doing during showcases.
Yeah.
The problem was, and I checked off, I had 10 games I wanted to play, like day one from Xbox, which was crazy. So trying to narrow down a game of show was really difficult. It has to be Star Wars Outlaws because Star Wars, and it looks good. So like kind of by default, I feel like my game of show was taken from me. But in the interest of being interesting, Cyberpunk.
Yes.
Phantom Liberty.
Looks amazing.
Gosh, knows that looks so great. And you played Cyberpunk at the beginning, Ains. I waited because it was broken at launch, as we've talked about many times, and you've corroborated and confirmed it was not good at launch.
I'm not doing this again.
But I got to play it after that great set of patches, I think last summer. Wonderful experience. I think I have over 80 hours or something like that in Cyberpunk. And to know now that they're doing that kind of a patch again, like again, completely retooling the AI and whatnot. And this is a stretch, so stick with me. Having just played Redfall's post-patch AI patch, I can already see the difference in AI. Like the idea of seeing that on a Cyberpunk level to scale on Cyberpunk's team just blows my mind. I can't wait to go back into Liberty City. And I don't even know if I'm going to do that at launch. But I know I'm excited. I know I'm stoked. And it almost makes me sad that they're leaving this engine behind because I feel like they're just now realizing it. That said, they've earned back my trust. You know, CD Projekt Red has. So.
That's good. Yeah, they're retooling a lot of things. I know that Phantom Liberty spread far and wide, but I think it was widely missed that they are doing another rebuild of the game. Basically, they're even redoing skills again and skill building. They're changing things about the inventory, and people forget. Like Witcher 3 is widely considered one of the greatest games of all time, rightfully so. They forget that they did that with Witcher 3 too. The entire inventory and UI system in Witcher 3 today was not what was there in the first year of that game. They completely redid it. It's just that that's what CDPR does. And the reason they do that, it freaking works. Witcher 3 is sold better this year, or excuse me, in 2022 than it did in 2016. I'm sorry, I'm mixing years up. So it sold better 6 years after launch than it did the year after launch. And that's because it's just a widely appreciated game that they never stopped making better, and they're doing the same thing with Cyberpunk. It was funny. We had a debate on our Discord like 2 years ago. It was shortly 6 months after release, maybe. And I said that at the time, I said CD Projekt Red will continue to fix this game. They'll bring out an expansion. It'll be, night and day from launch, and it'll be fondly looked at for years to come. One of the most, appreciated games. And people told me I was crazy. And I'm like, okay, we'll see, in a few years what happens, because you could just see the template that they were going to do, just like Witcher 3. I mean, and the game's already sold, 30 million copies or something? It's way up there, Cyberpunk already. So,
I'm sorry, go finish your thought.
I was just going to say, but Phantom Liberty looks great. Idris Elba looks awesome in it. We did a little preview of it on the site that's up. You can check that out if you want the details from the press release and CD Projekt Red. But anyway, that's it. I was going to jump over to Outlaws, but
yeah. Well, like, fun fact here, guys, as someone who played Cyberpunk last year when it was completed, finished, and all that jazz, going to Phantom Liberty, I like to try to trigger in so much. Phantom Liberty is I think, outside of Spider-Man, because obvious Spider-Man bias, that is my most anticipated game this year, is Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. Like, I will be playing Starfield until Phantom Liberty comes out, and then I will switch over. Because, like, that game, that world, and that story in particular, I want to see how Phantom Liberty fits into it all.
You know why you can't trigger me? Because you have, rightfully so, by the way, converted and realized and appreciated that Johnny Silverhand is one of the best characters ever written, which I told you guys like a year and a half ago, and you didn't believe me. And I remember specifically, I'm going to go find the goddamn clip. I remember specifically telling you, Joe, that you didn't play enough of that game to realize that Johnny Silverhand's character was absolutely incredible. And you argued with me about it.
I was wrong. Pat Joe's an idiot. You were right. Like, yeah, dude, I can't. And that's the thing. It's like I get more Johnny Silverhand, and then like whatever Idris is doing as well. Like, I'm excited for him as well. But like,
yeah, he sounds really cool.
That is my game of most anticipated game this year.
So it'd be fair to say then, because sadly, the funny thing about Phantom Liberty, guys, I knew it was going to be at the Xbox show. And I said before the show, just don't come out in September. Please, don't come out in September. It's 2 weeks after Starfield, for God's sakes, which no one's going to be done with Starfield in 2 weeks. It's also like a week after Lies of P, which is like right in there too, which is really good so far. If Joe, if you are still playing Starfield when Phantom Liberty releases, we'll know that Starfield really captured you.
Yeah. I mean, technically, all right, it comes out on the 6th, but if you get the Steelbook that I got, humble brag, Steelbook gang here, it's September 1st.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll get a good weekend, an extra week almost with Starfield.
Yeah, about 3 weeks, right? What's Phantom Liberty? I forget.
Phantom Liberty's the 26th, I believe.
Okay, sweet.
So
sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that will be the thing that, if I'm still playing Starfield and I'm conflicted about going to Cyberpunk, then I think Bethesda did what they needed to do.
Are they doing a Game Pass upgrade thing like they did with Redfall, like where you can get the Steelbook and the upgrade?
Yes, they are. $35.
Steelbook upgrade expansion, first story expansion.
$35. Yes.
Let's go ahead.
By the way, guys, with the new PC too, Rob just reminded me. Like I played Cyberpunk on the full path tracing, like that full ridiculous upgrade they did for like high-end PCs. It is absurd how good it looks. Now I only get about 40 some FPS on full path tracing, even with a brand new PC 4080 and all that, because it's just so intensive. But tone it down a little bit, it'll still be absolutely stunning. So I'm pumped for it, man. I cannot wait. I hope CD Projekt Red media acceptance is kind of tough. So we are pressed with them, but I didn't get Cyberpunk officially from them to review. I'm hoping we can get Phantom Liberty. We'll see. So
excellent. Excellent.
And I should be reviewing Starfield, which I don't even know where you're going to begin to review that game. That's going to be a tough one.
I think I have a link to that. I think.
No. I mean, actually playing and reviewing it for an embargo type thing in a time frame.
I got a link. I can give it to you.
That's not what I'm saying. Like, once you have the game, you know what I mean? Like, That's going to be like, you're going to have to put like 100 hours to properly review that game.
I got you. Yeah. Well, yeah, properly review it. Got you.
Yeah. We're not getting into that. Outlaws.
Outlaws. What do you think?
Outlaws.
What are your thoughts?
It looks fantastic, but I'm very sad that the Division has to die for it. And I know you guys don't care because I'm talking to 2 Star Wars fanboys.
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
No.
I'm here for Outlaws.
Star Wars is the past. Let it die. I knew I'd get him. Here's the thing, though, and you guys are going to struggle with this because you're Star Wars nuts. And Luke, you say you want everything to be superhero based, which is crazy. Yeah. But we've feared this for years, and it is starting to feel like the video game industry is getting too IP focused again.
Yep.
And I hate that. Not everything has to be a fucking superhero or Star Wars, okay? There are as many millions of fans as there are of those IPs, and there are many millions of fans. I'm not denying that. And I love that you guys are getting those games we always wanted. I don't like that there's so much AAA development focus in that area because it's becoming similar to the movie industry, and we saw what happened in the movie industry. Hold on. That said, that's one of the things I really loved about Xbox's showcase is that all of their first party efforts were unique, they were fresh, they were new, and they were very just game focused. They weren't saying like, oh, you like Spider-Man, here's a Spider-Man game, which bores me to fucking tears. Whereas I know I'm in the minority, I know that, but I love that we're getting game-ass games from Xbox that look to be AAA quality that don't have to align with popular culture. I said my piece.
No, your piece is well taken. I don't agree though that it's too IP focused for the exact reason that you followed up with, and that a lot of these newer titles out of Xbox are not IP driven. I think Indiana Jones would probably be the only one that is, and we haven't seen that one, right?
Yeah, we don't know what that's like.
You're not getting a Batman game this year. You're getting, how many superhero games did you get this year? One.
We got Gotham last year. I mean, that's Batman. Come on.
You got one last year.
We got Suicide Squad coming.
Suicide Squad next year. You're talking one a year. What do you like? I think that's a pretty narrow. Like you're focusing in and letting one game dominate your perception, because the reality is we've gotten one superhero game, maybe two. I think 2 if you count Guardians in there. 1 to 2
Avengers.
Per year.
Think about the studios we're talking about, right? So you take Insomniac, who made they still made Ratchet and Clank, so I'll give them big props for that. Yeah. They think games like Resistance or not Jak and Daxter, Resistance, and other games in the past. Good. Now they're Spider-Man, then they're Miles Morales, then they're Spider-Man 2, then they're Wolverine.
I think if their games were bad, then you'd have a leg to stand on for Insomniac.
No, I'm just saying that their AAA development talent is moved to IP-based focus. Then you look at Ubisoft, right? And you've got Avatar, right? Yeah, which they've been working on for years now. Their AAA studio. Then you take Massive. Massive is now on Star Wars, and that's taking all of their development focus for years. You take Hitman and IOI, now they're in James Bond. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong, and it makes sense because Spider-Man is going to sell gangbusters. I get it. Like, I understand the market, but I'm annoyed that I just think about what the talent on those teams can do with just creative, new, original ideas. That would be much more fun to me personally.
I can understand. I'm not being superhero, but being IP, yes. Superhero, I think you're getting 1 to 2 a year. But you're right. When you go bigger IP and the examples you said, then I understand your point. I think a little bit better.
Yeah, I think that's only going to ramp up as well.
Well, it has. That's my point, right? Years ago, we said the movie industry has gone crazy superhero heavy, which big directors, right? Like big name directors spoke out against. Like it's kind of killing Hollywood. And we said we don't want. I said I really hope that doesn't happen in the gaming industry, and yet it has. Really, it's gone very IP heavy, and so I don't think I loved Hogwarts. Hogwarts was awesome, and I'm not even a Harry Potter fan. And I know Spider-Man 2 is going to be a great game. It's not a game for me, and that's fine. It's still going to be a great game, I'm sure. I just wanted to call it out that because I love The Division. I think that that's a fantastic new idea that came out when the Division 1 came out. Great ARPG, etc. And Massive is a very talented team that is now gone from that, right? And Division 2 has died for it. And that's, to me, that's a shame.
It is a shame. I, though, think when it comes to the Division, the biggest problem with it is like it's based in like, you know, like it's contemporary, and yet all the enemies are bullet sponges, where it's just like, that makes a little bit more sense in a Destiny world, or I'm able to believe it more because I'm a space wizard shooting at a, you know, Iron Titan in the sky. Like that made more sense. But if I'm just fighting a dude with a whole bunch of body armor, and I'm like, this feels a bit silly. So I do love the Division IP, and I am sad that it's seemingly changing hands into being something that the Heartland doesn't look great, right? It is a bummer, and I want to echo what Aid says, because as much as I love like Star Wars Survivor is the best Star Wars video game, I'm really excited for Spider-Man 2. That is, and Spider-Man's my superhero, right? But there is a worry that we are putting all of our eggs into the Hogwarts basket, the Spider-Man basket, you name the IP, that. And instead of us trying to make a, one of my favorite games ever, Bloodborne, Ghost of Tsushima, these original ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a bummer, and it does scare me, because look at what happened to, the movie industry, and then now it's starting to recover in terms of like these Hollywood execs have kind of moved away from this idea that every movie has to make $1 billion, right? And now we're starting to see superhero movies just straight up bomb in the box office because people want to see something different. And that's what I'm scared of. There's fatigue.
Yeah.
Whether I feel it or not. And when I take a look at like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, as much as I'm excited for it, I think it looks fine. Do we really want Rocksteady just to work on that?
No.
Exactly. and what happens if that game doesn't do good? Or doesn't sell as gangbusters as they want it to? Like, those are things that to put into perspective as we see only more and more of these IP be rented out by these studios. So that is something to take into consideration. Whenever I hear people, talk about, well, Xbox needs a superhero mascot game like PlayStation. Do you really, though?
I think we do.
Really? And I've said that.
The same argument style.
Yeah, I've said that, but. I agree. I mean, it's just a point I called out, because when I saw Massive, like the studio come on, I knew what the game was because we knew they were working on Star Wars. And it looks fantastic. It really does. When they showed it at Ubisoft, right, Forward, and we got to see actual gameplay, I was like, yeah, it looks great. So I'll probably be excited for that too. I just thought it was something to call out. Strubles and Bits, he says, PS2, Xbox era had a lot of movie IP releases. They did, but the difference is they were third rent studios that would develop those games in alignment with the movie release, right? It was like a low rent game that would go with that release. You weren't taking AAA top tier studios just making superhero games or IP.
Shout out to Visceral for making the Return of the King video game one of the best video game
classic
movie games.
The old EA one, right? Before EA shut Visceral down. Yeah.
Hey, can we give a shout out to Ubisoft for having a great maybe not the presentation, but like a great list of games that I wanted.
Me too.
I was excited.
Yeah, we can. It's a weird ass show. It was like
weird.
Hi, terrible. Hi, terrible. And, I love that my camera froze right there. That's perfect.
Yeah, you handsome devil. But that Avatar game is what I wanted from an Avatar game. Yeah. And I know it's just Far Cry, and I'm like, that's what I wanted it to be. That's correct. Which I think is funny, but like Prince of Persia, upon like closer inspection, excited for that one. Joe, I think you are too.
Prince of Persia looks incredible. I won't hear any slander about that game. It looks amazing.
The art style, I think, hurts it on a presentation side to
Shut up, bitch.
Those that don't pay attention. Why are you yelling at me?
I'm kidding.
I just said I'm excited for it.
I know. I saw a lot of people like getting down on that game. I'm like, dude, this game looks amazing, and it's from the Rayman Legends team. Like that, I'm telling you, that game is going to be incredible.
Oh, absolutely. But that art style lends itself towards what we've come to identify as like a mobile art style, and that's why I think it doesn't get the fair shake.
Okay.
But I like, what was
See
it?
where it come from.
It was Prince of Persia, Avatar, Assassin's Creed Mirage,
Outlaws.
Star Wars Outlaws. Yeah, I had
Outlaws.
to email 4 titles to the Ubisoft guys and be like, "Hey, please let me cover these games." And like, I wanted to add in the Crew, but like, I won't have time because the Crew just looks like Forza Horizon, which rock on PlayStation gamers.
That trailer, like, if you took 2 people who didn't know these games and said, "Are these different games?" they would have said, "No, that's the same game." Like, they almost copied the trailer of Forza Horizon to a T. They went to beach, to volcano, to jungle. I'm like, Ubi, at least pretend it's a different attempt at a game. Like
next Hawaii.
We're in Mex Hawaii. I mean,
yeah. But like, I wouldn't even have time. But like Ubisoft, I dare say they are returning to form. And next to Capcom, they're like, hey, we want to be the best third party publisher because Capcom can't miss lately. I'm all in on Exoprimal. I'm all in on Dead Space, or not Dead Space, Resident Evil.
Capcom's been crushing it. Yeah,
Street Fighter 6 is so good, guys.
Yeah,
so good.
I think the presentation was very weird, very Ubisoft.
Yeah,
but I was even I want to throw this out here. If we're bickering about the presentation, then I think the games were like I think that's like a small negative at the end of the day. If the presentation was weird, and trust me, there was some lulls, and I was checking my watch at sometimes, but like at the end of the day, there's like 5 games that are going to be buying out of that showcase. So it was a great showcase. It was possibly my favorite showcase of the year.
Come on, now.
Games.
What? It's hard. I know what he means though. So
we like Ubisoft better than Xbox's showcase.
So let me
articulate. I'm into the Ubisoft game. Like you're giving me
interest level.
It's an interest level.
There you go.
Relax. I'm not saying it because I'm a PlayStation guy. Remember,
yes, you
PlayStation
are.
Showcase was abysmal. It was abysmal. It was not great. All right, I was on 19 Xbox shows saying that. All right, I'm on record after record. And as a PlayStation guy looking at the Xbox Showcase, obviously, like critically best showcase. But I'm thinking about the games I'm going to be playing in the next year, and I saw 5 games I'm going to be playing within the next year.
Okay,
I saw about one that has a firm date on the Xbox side that I'll be playing on day one. That's
because you don't play Forza, right?
No.
I'm not going to play Motorsport much either.
Oh, okay. I thought Ains was coming at me with the sure you don't. I'm like, no,
Motorsport's that's for that's the enthusiast sim interest level.
Yeah. It's like, so I mean, Spider-Man 2 will be one of the best-selling games of the year, yet I'm not buying it. It's just not a game I'm interested in.
Also, thank you for pre-ordering that for me, by the way.
Yeah, no worries. You fix your damn thing, for God's sakes.
It's them. It's
them.
I
know. I just like saying it to you.
Sorry, Luke.
No, I just wanted to echo because I was worried you didn't articulate well. It's a matter of interest.
No, I got it. Yeah, I got it. And I agree with you. I'm Prince of Persia's day one. Outlaws is day one. I'm not even a Star Wars game, but that game looks great. Avatar, I think it's cool looking.
I hope you're not a Star Wars gaming.
Star Wars what? What'd I say?
You said I'm not a Star Wars game, but I like that game.
Oh, I mean, I can be. You never know. It depends how much money we're talking about. And then Avatar I'm in on for sure. I think that's a very smart release date too in December. Put that at the tail end of the year. Yeah, I think it'll be good. What was the other one? Oh, Assassin's Creed Mirage. I'm not an AC fan really, but I think it looks great. I talked to like Mo, who's a diehard old school Assassin's Creed fan. He's hyped as hell. So yeah,
we're good. Yeah, I don't know how Logan and I are going to divide and conquer some of this stuff for coverage.
There's way too much to play.
It's just too much, and I think we even told our audience, we're like, hey, like when we get some of this, it's going to be like, hey, we're going to play this in December, and like, there's nothing coming out in November, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right? Yet.
Right, yeah. Why are I need every company to realize that November, December, and January are great times to sell games. I'll buy games in those months.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's before even getting to me for Lords of the Fallen is my second most anticipated game. That game looks absolutely insane.
Unless you review that, you're not going to play it until like a couple months later, unless you're the reviewer, because there's just too much.
I think it's hilarious that like don't know about you guys, but like Spider-Man 2 and Assassin's Creed Mirage will be two of the biggest games this fall. Whereas 10 years ago, they might have been two of the three big game releases, right, in a fall season. Now there are two game releases I won't even buy at launch and I won't even think about. I won't skip a beat because I'll still have too much to play.
Man, I'm so stoked for Alan Wake.
Yep, me too.
Oh gosh, I'm so
Looks awesome.
excited for Alan Wake.
Yeah,
that's a game that I want.
Yeah, there's just so many really great holiday games, and I hope like AC Mirage and like Alan Wake realize November could be a great place for you guys. Like not days apart from each other or days away from Spider-Man, because like that Spider-Man release date now has me saying, okay, I can only pick one. It is either Alan Wake or Mirage. Like there's no dancing between the two. So I don't know, man.
The good thing is those are two very different experiences.
Yeah.
Did you guys? Which collector's editions did you guys order?
For what?
Any of the holiday? I got Spider-Man. I did not get the Constellation watch for Starfield. I did just while we were recording get the Steelbook because I want the Steelbook.
Okay.
I still need a way to display Steelbooks. Like I got them all stacked up right there. I don't know why I want them.
I can send you the link to what I did where I put them on the wall if you want to put some up.
Please, that'd be great.
Okay. It's easy.
But I got the Spider-Man special edition. That's what I chose to spend my birthday money on, which birthday, but like whatever. But like that's what I decided. I wasn't gonna allocate multiple.
I mean, me and your mother had a lengthy conversation, mostly physical touch, where we were discussing what are we gonna give him for
a physical touch conversation.
Yeah. I was reading Braille somewhere, guys.
Oh boy,
a lot of bumps. So I ordered Constellation Edition. I'm trying to think of any other collector's editions I ordered. Well, Starfield I went nuts on. I have two controllers. Constellation Edition, and they have on their site a 9-inch statue of Vargas the robot.
Oh, cool.
Ooh. So I ordered that too. It sold out in like an hour. They only make 800 of them. It's
wow, really? Okay.
Rob wanted to see the triggers on these controllers.
Oh, the triggers are awesome. Yeah,
they're translucent. I don't know if you can tell that, Rob, but they're see-through.
The cool thing too is if you open the battery pack on the other side, it says "Into the Starfield," which is badass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for all Into the Starfield. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. There you go.
We all have it right here, huh? Yep.
Yeah, look at that Starfield controller game.
I actually bought. I know this is not a joke. I ordered a second one because when it came and I took it out, I was like, normally I display a lot of my controllers. Like no, I want to use this, so I ordered a second one so I can keep one new.
I've been playing because my dog can't climb the stairs, and I'm home during the summer now, so I'm playing on my Series S downstairs, and I've been using not the Elite controller. And for like Diablo and Street Fighter, it's better to not use the Elite for me.
Absolutely, me too. I always use the Series X controller unless I'm playing like Halo or a shooter.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is it's Elite is great for shooters, but I'm finding for ones that not, it's definitely there. And Logan says in chat the rubber grips on the Starfield controller.
Yep.
He said on XEP that should be the standard, and he's 100% right.
He's right.
100% right.
Yeah, it basically has the Elite grips. Kind of. It doesn't wrap around the front, but it actually is very, very comfortable. This is what I use for Diablo and everything I play right now. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yep.
I am getting okay, Ames, back me up here, and maybe I'll be fighting both of you. I don't know. I got an Apple Watch, so I find no use in that Starfield Collector's Edition. Luke says I'm like a big, dumb, silly boy for thinking that way, that it's a cool Collector's Edition. I go, I don't think it really is.
No,
I don't think it is.
Collector's Edition. It's just that, do you want, I have the Halo watch. It's not a smartwatch, but it's because it's Starfield. If you love Starfield, you're gonna want that special band.
It's a display piece for me, so I'm kind of in between. I get that it's a watch, it's not a statue. It's not, it's not something like that, which I get. They try to make it cool and functional. It has a lot of cool features. Like you can see, they're creating an app you connect to, and you can make it look exactly like in the game, and you can customize it, and it's all that stuff.
Do that with my Apple Watch. You could probably do that with your Samsung watch.
Yeah, but Apple sucks. So at least
and that's why I threw Samsung in there. Okay.
But I think the case is really cool, and it's it comes with the other niceties as well for the game. It's just a display piece. I have the Pit Boy. I have the Atom Bomb from Fallout. I have the helmet. So it's just something that'll go on a shelf and look nice. It's a little pricey for what it is, but it's Starfield. You knew it was going to be. So
yeah. I'm like, I'll get the steelbook for that. If there, no, I wouldn't get a steelbook. And then I think at the end of the day, I was thinking about AC Mirage. I think at the end of the day, I think the only one is Spider-Man. That's it.
You mean I'm getting Spider-Man?
Yeah, because PlayStation Direct, has no idea how to run its own site.
Ains, I'll give you $100 if you send that statue to me just so it doesn't go to Joe. Because I've already gotten one. I would just use the second one as like a cup holder or something. Just like on camera.
I'll secretly open it, take out the statue, reseal it, and send it to him.
Well, actually, Ains, I will need you to open it so I can get the digital code. So
it is documented.
Thank you for being a good friend.
The interest on this is going up by the day. It compounds daily.
It's well documented, by the way, Ains, that if Joe dies, I get his Spider-Man 1 statue.
Yeah,
we used to when he was on the verge, like for COVID, I was like, buddy, I really want to love and remember it.
I hope you pull through, but if you don't,
that was our deal for real.
All right. Well, you said it on the air now. It's legally binding.
That's right.
I can't think of any other collector's editions that are coming this fall.
I saw the Avatar one.
Oh, is there an Avatar one? Let me see.
There is. It looks cool, but Way of Water did not do it for me. I love Avatar. Like as a world, I love the first movie. I did not like Way of Water.
Really?
Really? Yeah. And I felt it was like a $1 trillion revenge story as opposed to like what they were really there for. But whatever. That's not the point. My point is the statue looked cool. It didn't look $250 cool.
Yeah, the CEs have gone up quite a bit, and I think that generally speaking, like I've said this before, the statues you get with CEs, unless you really like the character or it's something different and special, like they're generally not worth it.
Yeah.
They're just not great quality typically. And I have too much as it is, and I think now that I've got other like full size statues coming, like I'm getting more picky about the collector's editions I order. The only one I think I have ordered is Starfield, and that's because, like I said, the game has taken over now for me. So
yeah, I don't have enough space. What I do want is actually, Ains, you were talking about, I want stands for these controllers. So I could put them in my room.
They did make, they have an official Starfield one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So years ago, there used to be controller gear. I don't know if you guys are familiar, and they made nice little $20 Xbox and PlayStation stands that you put your controllers on. They started to do a lot of business. Razer bought them out. So now Razer sells the charging stands. The problem is you have to buy the charging one, which I don't care about, but they cost like $35-$40, which sucks. You used to be able to just buy a plastic stand for like $15-$20. But anyway, they did make a Starfield one with the logo on it that lines up with this controller if you want it.
Okay, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah,
man, Razer's a company that's like, we put an LED on this, now give us $20.
They're overpriced. Yeah, definitely overpriced. But I have Joe, you like this. I have the statue that just shipped to me is Nameless King.
Okay.
Big ass Nameless King statue. Yeah. So that'll be
me greatly.
But what other game have we not what game out of all the summer showcases have we not mentioned that you guys are pumped for?
I feel like we've covered a lot of them. I want to applaud Xbox's new IP approach. I want to applaud them for not talking about Sea of Thieves or Halo or Grounded a lot, right? Like Sea of Thieves got a rightful spotlight on the Monkey Island stuff, but they didn't dwell. And the reason that's important is that Forza, Halo, Gears, and Sea of Thieves were the Xbox One's pillars. And while I'm of the mind that there are a lot of games I loved from the Xbox One era, it didn't do what Xbox needed it to do. And so I like that they brought out new stuff. We saw fresh ideas from them with 2 new IP that are first party. We saw a renewed Avowed IP. We saw good stuff out of Fable. And the cool part about it is that for all the new and exciting things we saw at Xbox, we also didn't see a lot that we know is still coming. We didn't see Indie, Perfect Dark, anything from id Software. And and that's great.
Machine Games,
which is indie. I thought, isn't Machine Games indie?
What do you mean by indie?
Indiana Jones.
Indie. Yes, they are. They
okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. Like, I love that, and I love that. I'm sorry I cut you off, but I want to make the final point. I thought Summer Game Fest Jeff's show was a little thin, especially in hindsight. It was very thin, and my thought is Game Awards, right? Like, I hope Game Awards delivers, and that Xbox. I feel like Xbox, because of the number of things they have now, could deliver something cool at Game Awards.
I think we'll see Hellblade's release date at Game Awards.
I bet it's quick. I hope it's January, February.
Yeah, we'll see. March. So one of the cool things I got to do is to go to that media thing I told you. So it was about a 45-minute conversation with in front of us were Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, Sarah Bond, and Todd Howard. And they talked about just core things about Xbox business, what they're focused on, IPs and that stuff. It was good. And I recorded it. I'm going to be writing an article on it, on some perspective. But one of the things Matt Booty talked about in that vein is, we're very proud of what we showed. We're happy we could finally show some of these things, right? Like, obviously we've heard the cries of what's going on, and it just takes time. And he reiterated, like, AAA games take several years to make now. So it's not like they've been resting on their laurels. It's just like they needed time. But he said now, like, he is confident, and he reiterated, I have it on my phone, that they are at a place where they will deliver the game a quarter from first party going forward. And it's what we've talked about. It's what everyone's wanted to see from them. It's what we think the value of Game Pass is, right? Where you stay a continual subscriber because you'll get a big first party game every quarter combined with indies and third party agreements and stuff like that, right? But he already said, like, we still have a lot that we didn't show. So he sounded more confident than I've ever heard Matt Booty sound in speaking about the portfolio.
That's cool.
I like to hear. Yeah,
good.
So it's good.
Well, boys, listen, that's been the conversation this week. Any final thoughts before we get on out of here and I try to sneak in at least one more hour of Diablo?
Same thing. I'm trying to do that capstone dungeon, man. So
I can well, it depends how late you're up. I could probably help you with that in a little bit if you need me to.
Let's go.
I'll message you when I'm going to get on. Lies of P, I just want to call out real quick.
Go for it. Yes.
That demo is really surprisingly good. It's very much a Souls game. So we already kind of knew that. Did you play it, Joe?
Yes, I played. I beat it. Yeah.
Did you like it?
I liked it a lot. There was very Bloodborne-esque, but at the same exact time adding its own elements to make it feel like something different. Like, it felt competent. I think I said this on the trophy room last week, where it was just like, Team Ninja does their own like iterations or versions of what we come to expect from software games, and they're usually the only ones that do it competently. Like, the problem with a lot of indie games that try to be a From Software game is that they're trying to be a From Software game. It feels like the movement's just a little off and everything like that. But like the combat doesn't feel sorry, someone's talking. One sec. Yeah, cut me off real fast.
Hey, boo. That was my wife talking to Joe. It's crazy. I wasn't listening to Joe because I don't listen to Joe. He doesn't really say things that I pay attention to. So I was straight up scrolling my phone because whatever.
Right,
and that's
I'm
why
back.
He's one of the best.
Shut up, Luke. Shut your damn mouth. I don't even know what he was saying. It could have been something.
I was just complimenting you on how
he was being super nice about you.
Oh, great. Okay, so it was negative. So yeah, no, that's it. It always feels like imitation. Lies of P doesn't feel like imitation. It feels like it is like this could stand on its own like a Team Ninja joint. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. I was surprised. They've obviously spent a lot of time on it. It feels really good. It looks really good. It performs well. I immediately got into the iframe dodge kind of timing, rhythm of that game on that first little mini boss, and it just feels really good. So I'm pumped about that. I think that we're getting that, and Lords of the Fallen looks fantastic. Between those two games, I'm super hyped from a Souls perspective. The only thing I wish we saw to some degree, last point, is we still haven't seen Elden Ring's expansion. which I thought we might see somewhere during these summer showcases. But
We'll probably see that in.
But it's fine. We have so much this year. It's fine. Take your time.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Take your time.
Yep.
Keep cooking.
I don't want Jeff Keighley joints to be stretched thin. I don't think that's good for the industry. I think because of the name that he has built for himself, a lot of eyes are on his showcases, and I need those showcases to be strong to continue like having a healthy game industry and discourse around it. So my hope is that Game Awards delivers on some of those big announcements and maybe show some awards in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So call it now. Game of the year. I have said it's going to be between Zelda and Starfield, personally.
Zelda.
Game of the year.
But like my personal
at the Video Game
Diablo.
Awards. I don't mean ours. I just mean at the Game Awards. I think it's going to be Zelda or Starfield.
Zelda.
I think it's probably Zelda or Starfield. I think it's Starfield because
it's cute that you guys add a second or, like it's or this. It's Zelda. They've all made up their mind.
I don't something about I'll be on the outside of because I was right in on Breath of the Wild. Being on the outside looking in, the vibes have not stuck with Tears of the Kingdom because of Diablo, because of all the showcases. So the vibe, like people aren't still talking about Breath of the Wild came out last time, March or something, and everybody just talked about Breath of the Wild for months. I feel like everybody's moved on from Tears in terms of the conversation because of the showcases and Diablo.
Once the conversation comes back to Game of the Year, and the conversation is, all right, so what's our rate? Legend of Zelda. It's Zelda. It has I'll say it has like an innate bias in this industry. It's been with us the longest.
Breath of the Wild showed that.
No, Breath of the Wild was rightfully deserving.
Showed the bias clearly.
All right, Ains. Okay, No Man's Sky 2 over there. So like, no, I joke. Yeah, whatever. It's true.
I'm posting on Twitter that you said that. Enjoy.
All right. Oh no, people that look like me are gonna tell me to kill myself, Ains. Oh no. But no, it's gonna be Legend of Zelda.
I'm sorry.
I don't
even
think
think the year
runner up.
The Game of the Year conversation this year is so freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Because we started the year, we had Hi-Fi, Dead Space, Resident Evil 4, Street Fighter,
Hogwarts,
Jedi Survivor, Zelda. Like it's mind-boggling the quality we've gotten, and yet still people aren't happy.
Yeah, and
this is the best year in games, by the way. Better than 2007.
Best year.
I think it is going to top 2007 finally. Yeah.
I think it's like for me of Game of the Year, it's just 3 games. I think Diablo, Resident Evil 4, and then I have not beaten Zelda yet, but once I do, that's number 3 right there. I think Zelda does so many things. Like it listened to y'all of what you wanted to see from Breath of the Wild and didn't. It's a feat. So yeah, I think those 3 right now for me are
that's why I think if Starfield actually delivers on all the things that we saw and that it's capable of doing, it could be up there. But I agree with you, generally speaking, unless Diablo is mind-blowing or Starfield is mind-blowing, I think Zelda has probably got it in the bag just because of the industry the way it is. So
let's go play Diablo, boys.
Yes, sir. Let's go. Luke, you want to get us out of here, bud?
Absolutely. You guys can, of course, find me on Twitter at Insipid Ghost and support the Xbox Expansion Pass on all your podcast services. If you listen on one, go rate it on the others as well. It's always appreciated, and I would love for you guys to join Logan and I each week as we discuss all the goings on in the Xbox universe. We work hard to make a good product for you guys, and we hope you enjoy it. Ains?
Yeah. So thanks for everyone with all the engagement while I was out in LA. Just crazy numbers and impressions across the board. Channel was still rocking, even though we're really lacking content right now. I had the LA trip and then I got really sick. So SG's kind of slacked the last week or so, but we're getting back. Big Cast will be back this weekend. Obviously, Cast tonight. We'll have an article coming up about some of the deeper things going on at Xbox and some of the things I heard and had conversations with. So look forward to that. Otherwise, yeah. Good. Joe.
Yeah, you can find me over at Mr. Babbitt on Twitter. You can find my show, The Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, on Twitter at PS Trophy Room, or the video version you can catch live each and every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This week, I don't know what we're going to be talking about, honestly. Probably Final Fantasy 16 reviews go up. We'll have a chat about that. And also,
God, we forgot about Final Fantasy 16 this week too. Good God.
I know. And we're gonna have we can finally put it out there. The Ben Starr interview, 49-minute interview of a dude that is just so down to earth, such a really awesome time just to hear him gush about video games. It's awesome. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really cool week for the Trophy Room. Actually, I think this week it won't be live, but it will be premiered at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there you go. But yeah,
nice. And by the way, chat, you've been awesome tonight. Sorry, Joe.
Hey,
I thought you were done.
Almost. I was gonna say find it anywhere: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff. All right, I'll do the outros here.
Yeah. Come on.
All right, I keep forgetting about that. I'm sorry. So that said, everybody keep casting that co-op. And wait, before we go, please put Luke in Starfield. Let's do it. Luke for Starfield. #. Go for it. Keep casting that co-op.